Hi, and welcome to the Breakthrough Emotional Eating podcast. My name is Kristen Jones, and thank you so much for joining me this week for our episode. Super exciting. We have a challenge going on in the group, and so we definitely have a lot of excitement happening in our group. So I'm going to just say right off the top, if you are not a member, if you're listening to this podcast, as a podcast, we are streaming live into the Breakthrough Emotional Eating community on Facebook. And if you are not a member, you want to be there. We have a challenge going on this week. We do challenges about every month, 6 weeks. So if you are not a member and you want to become a member, you definitely want to jump on over www.facebook.com/groups/food breakthrough and become a part of an amazing community here on Facebook. Super supportive. If you have any issues with emotional eating, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm gonna bet that you have issues with emotional eating. And if you do, you are gonna find 3,000 plus people who share the same struggles, and we are here to support each other and lift each other up and really get each of us help others and help ourselves to get ourselves through what we deal with on a daily basis in regards to our emotional eating and the process of losing weight, because we all know that losing weight as an emotional eater is very, very challenging. And so we directly address that in the group, as well as through our challenges and through various programs that are offered in the group. So you definitely want to be there if you are not already a member. So hope everyone in the group has had a fabulous Wednesday. We are on day 2 of our challenge, and we'll be talking about that after the podcast is over. So, all right, in today's podcast, we are going to be addressing, and this is a topic that we talked about today in the challenge. We are talking about adopting new beliefs. Are your thoughts about yourself keeping you from losing weight? So are your thoughts about yourself keeping you from losing weight? That is what we're going to address, and we're going to look at how you adopt new beliefs about yourself. And there are some things that make it really challenging. So in today's episode, you will learn where your beliefs come from and why they just might not and probably aren't true. You're going to learn to recognize what your current beliefs are and whether they are serving your life or not moving forward. And lastly, where you need to look within your own life to determine if you will be successful or not based upon the beliefs that you have. So those are the issues that we're going to address in the podcast today. Now, as I always do, I want to give a shout out. Today, I'm going to give a shout out to the the Stop Emotional Overeating boot campers. All my boot campers, I have about 18 of them in the group, and I just want to give a shout out to all of them. And we are halfway through the program. We're 4 weeks in. We're actually halfway through our 5th week, and we have just so many amazing things happening. But more exciting to me personally, more exciting than the weight loss and the numbers on the scale and all of that, all the things, I am most excited and most proud of the thoughts and the beliefs and the non-scale victories that so many people are having, that it's more about how they're changing their thoughts about themselves, changing their thoughts about their beliefs about themselves, as well as just how they move through their own lives in order to continue on their path, on their weight loss path. And that really is, frankly, it's the key to everything. I will say that, and I think most people in the group would agree with this, that almost all y'all have lost weight. Y'all can lose weight. Nobody is gonna argue that. You can lose weight. All of you can lose weight. The problem comes with keeping it off, and that originates with our thoughts and our beliefs about ourselves. And that's what we're going to be addressing today. And that's what my boot campers that's what we really dig into. We go very deep in that. And there's a lot of very of deep work, deep journaling work, deep work in our coaching calls to really kind of uncover and figure out what those beliefs are and what we do with them, and then how we take that information and how we move ourselves forward. So that's super exciting. So again, shout out to my boot campers. Thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. And I have so enjoyed the first 5 weeks, and I can't wait for the second half of our program to be here, and for all of you to just continue on with the amazing work that you're doing. So on to today's topic. Again, adopting new beliefs. Are your thoughts about yourself keeping you from losing weight? So the first thing I want to address is, where do your beliefs come from? Now, one of the things that I think most of you are probably going to be like, I think they came from my parents. Let's blame them. So, and I'm going to tell you, actually, your belief. Oops, sorry about this. Your beliefs, actually, they come from. Your beliefs actually come from your own personal past. Your beliefs come from your own personal past. So that doesn't necessarily, it could be caregivers, it could be people from our past, but it's also experiences that you have had. Most people look to their past to determine if they can do something in their present or in their future. So our past is both it's a double-edged sword. Our past can be something that we look to for our own self-confidence, but it can also be something that becomes our Achilles heel if we look back and something we want to do is not something we've been successful at in the past. We automatically believe there's no way you could do it. You can't do it because you've never done it before. Well, everything's got to start someplace. So we have to know that our beliefs, if we believe that if we only look to our past and look to our past to determine whether or not we're going to do something in our future, of course we're not going to move forward in a lot of areas of our lives. And weight loss very specifically is one of those areas. So I want to just kind of go over what beliefs are. Beliefs are merely thoughts. But they're thoughts that you've had over and over and over, and you've been told them, and then you thought them, and then somebody else told you, and then you thought them. And so you just keep having this tape that plays over and over and over in your head. And that becomes so ingrained that you believe that it is your truth. You believe that that's really who you are. And what I really want to encourage all of you, whether you're listening on the podcast or you're listening in the group, I want to encourage all of you to really think and take a different standpoint when it comes to your thoughts. I want you to become kind of the watcher of your thoughts. I want you to almost be like that upper, that hovering drone that's kind of watching what's going on, and you're like a third party to watch what's happening with your brain, because your thoughts are going to come. And if they're the thoughts that you've been having for years and years and years, you absolutely think they're true. But if they're not serving your life, they don't have to be true, and you don't have to believe them. So that is really, really important, because in weight loss, those beliefs that we have, if you're looking to lose weight, clearly you have probably lost weight in the past, but then you've gained it back. So you most likely have thought again and again and again, yeah, I can lose weight, but I can't keep it off. How many of you have that as a limiting belief? How many of you believe that you can lose weight, but you can't keep it off? And that's your belief about yourself that you keep telling yourself over and over and over. For those people in the community, I want you to put me. I can see people are already doing it. Me. if that is you, if you are currently thinking, well, yeah, and you even have doubts right now doing this challenge, you have doubts and you're thinking, okay, well, that's 3 days, but I guess it's just 3 days, and yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this. And that thought keeps creeping out, keeps creeping in, keeps coming back over and over and over. You have to understand, and I want everyone to really get that again is a deeply ingrained thought that is not a fact, and it is not true. It is only true if you want to make it true. So you have to decide, is that thought, if that's a thought you're having, you have to decide, is that thought moving your life forward? Is that thought working for you? As Dr. Phil says, how's that working for you? And the way you can tell if a thought is working for you is, how does it make you feel? Because we know feelings don't just come. They don't come from anybody outside of us. They come from our thoughts. So if you have a feel, if you think that and it makes you feel badly, that is not a thought that's serving you. And the exciting thing is, you don't have to think it. You get to decide if that is a thought you want to have and you want to keep and you want to continue to move forward with. You are all adults and you get to decide that. We didn't have many choices when we were kids, but we have choices now, and we get to decide what it is that we want to, what beliefs about ourselves we want to have. So one of the things, and I'm going to be honest, I still do this. And I actually was I was telling somebody, I was just doing my taxes today. I was finishing up all my taxes, and I was, my accountant really wants me to get them to her. And so I was doing my taxes, and I was, filling out the paperwork that she had sent me. And I'm like, I am just so not good with numbers. Like I have never been good with math. It has never been something I've been, strong with. And there's times, and I'll be completely honest, there's times as a business person that I'm very, very concerned about my ability to be able to manage the back end numbers aspect of my business. And I get very concerned about that. And then I realized today, as I was prepping this, I was like, Kristen, you do that all the time. All the time I tell people, oh yeah, I'm not good with numbers. I don't do math. I don't do math. And I used to laugh about it, but now it's like I really realize that is holding me back. And so that is something that I have to work on. And so, I really have started to change that thought today, because I did my tax stuff. I got it all done and it felt great, and I was able to handle it, and I did it all, and things were pretty positive. I didn't feel badly about things at all. But that's the belief I want to hold on to, that I can handle anything that I'm presented with, whether it's numbers, whether it's any aspect of my business, any aspect of my life. I can handle it if I tell myself I can handle it. And if I can't, if I need help, then I need to ask for help. And that's probably another really important thing, is we might not feel like we can necessarily do something, but as long as we tell ourselves, you know what, I can do that, and I am good to ask for help, because asking for help is the smartest thing that anyone can do for themselves. As we don't always have the answers. All right. Second, what are your current beliefs? Okay. Told you one of my current beliefs that I'm trying to work on right now. So what are your current beliefs? So I think I've talked to you all about this before. And I don't know if it's actually been on the podcast or if it's been in the group and alive. I have shared with you a lot of where my emotional eating came from. I've been an emotional eater, as I now call myself a gold star. I'm a gold star emotional eater. I've been emotional eating since I was probably 8 or 9 years old. And I have shared with you, and if you've read my book, you know that a lot of my childhood, there's only one way to say it. I was told I was stupid, or that the things I did were stupid, and that left a huge impact on me. A huge impact. For the longest time, I didn't think I was very smart at all, and so for the longest time, I underachieved at school. I was always I was just perfectly happy being that BC student. I did not need to be studying all that time, because in my eyes, why should I study? I've been told I'm stupid, so why would I study? Why would I study? Why would I actually think that I could get A's? And I will never, ever forget, I'll never forget this. I was a junior in high school, and I was taking U.S. history. And my teacher, and if you've heard the story before, I'm sorry, I apologize. And my teacher's name was Mr. McClellan. He's passed now, but he looked like Santa Claus, like full legit Santa Claus. Like he looked like Santa Claus. And he was a gruff man and great teacher. Oh my gosh, amazing teacher. But, and for some reason, I got into his class and I just made the decision that was like, you know what? I want to see what I can do. I'd never felt motivated, but there was something about him that I wanted to achieve. I wanted him to see that. I thought he saw me as, I was this flighty cheerleader and coming in late and talking and being super social. And I wanted him to see that there was more to me than that. And so I put my mind to it, and I would spend, he would give us, he would give us a lecture, and then we have our notes in class and our history book. And I would spend hours, like 10 to 12 hours studying for his tests. And I will never forget, one of the things that he did was when we would, you take a test, and after the test was done, he would announce the top three scores. And he would always go from the third, the second, the first. And I knew this one test, I knew I had done well. I knew I'd done well. And I was just like, oh, okay. He's going to announce the names. But in the back of my mind, I was just like, yeah, it's not going to be you. So the first person's name is read. They're the third highest score, second highest score. And I will never forget him saying, and I remember him saying this, and at the time it didn't bother me. It was probably pretty insulting. And if he said it now, like he would have gotten in trouble if it was anyone else other than me, because I was just so ecstatic I didn't even care. But he said, well, and as a dark horse in the group, and this is a little unexpected. I remember as soon as he said that, I thought, oh my God, it's me. And it was. And he called my name. And I am telling you, like, my classmates, you should have seen how many people turned around and were like looking like, what? Like, how could you have done that? And I remember feeling so proud because I had overcome those beliefs that had been so strongly ingrained in me that I couldn't do this. And I did. And that became like the springboard for me, where I just was like, okay, next time I want to be. And so I think for the whole, it was a semester. I think it was a semester class. And for the entire semester, I was in the top 3 every single test. And that was the first time that ever happened. It was the first time it had ever happened to me. And really, I then was able to take that success and then just parlay it. And then, it led to me, it took me a long time to finish college, believe me. But, finishing college and then getting, 2 teaching credentials and then finally getting a master's degree. But all of that was because I told myself, that was what I was going to do. That was who I was going to become. And I wasn't going to be that belief and that thought that I kept having about myself. And so I know that whatever current belief that you're walking around with, if it's not serving your life and it makes you feel bad, that is not the belief you want to have. And you can change it just the way I did. And it changed so much in my life. It changed so much about how I felt about myself. And you can do that as well. So we're gonna get a little interactive here. So if you're listening on the podcast or if you're in the group and you have a pencil and paper, I want you to write this prompt down. What are your current stories that you are telling yourself as a woman trying to lose weight or as an emotional eater? What are the stories? What are the things from your past that you keep bringing up, that you keep thinking about, that you keep saying to yourself? Something doesn't go right, and see, there you go again. There you go. You're going to just eat the house. What are you doing? Those things, those thoughts, those beliefs, they are not serving you. So what are they? What are the things that you are saying to yourself? What are the beliefs that you have, the stories that you're telling yourself about yourself as a woman trying to lose weight or as an emotional eater? And I also want you to answer the question of, how do you think that is preventing you from reaching your goal? What is it causing you to do? And again, are those beliefs or those stories, are they working for you? And then more importantly, why are you holding on to them? You have a choice. You can let them go. You can let them go and you can focus on something. You can focus on something else. And that's what I'm going to get to right now. So in order to change your beliefs, we've got to stop looking back and we've got to start looking towards the future. So your future is what is going to determine your success. Your future is going to determine your success. You get to decide. You get to decide. Don't let your past become your present and then impact your future. Okay? So let's think about it. Let's think about babies. And let's think about babies when they don't know how to walk. If babies did what we do and looked to their past and was like, okay, I'm trying to walk. Well, I've never done this before. I might as well just keep crawling. Why would any baby, if they were like us as an adult, babies just do what they do. That's what they do. They learn how to walk and they don't do it well and they fall and they, thank goodness they're wearing diapers because their little behinds get so hurt when they just sit down, they fall down and they do all that stuff. But babies are fearless. And somewhere along the lines, we're probably 12, 13, 14 years old. We start looking back at our past. Can we do that? Can we do something? I fell off my bike. Oh gosh, if I got on the bike, am I going to fall off again? We need to be like babies. We just need to not have that history of things that we haven't done well. Because if we haven't done them well, if we keep looking back at that, we are never going to get anywhere. So you have to let the past go and you have to move forward and look to your future as the way of how you're going to move forward and be successful. So here is what you can do. So whatever limiting belief that you wrote down, that I asked you, that I asked you what your current story is, whatever that limiting belief is, you've got to decide, and you are an adult and you can do this. You've got to decide that is not a belief that's working for me and I have to let it go. You've got to let it go. You've got to become the watcher of your thoughts. And when that thought comes back in, because you know what, for most of us, for some of you, whether you're 40, whether you're 70, we're talking, anywhere between 40 and 70 years of that same tape playing over and over and over in your head. And if it keeps playing that way, it's going to come back. It's not like one time you go, oh, I don't want to think that anymore. And then it never goes, that never happens again. Oh yeah, it's going to come back because your brain likes familiarity. It is going to keep going back to the same thing. So it is your responsibility as the watcher of your brain and as the omnipresent, viewer of your brain. You need to be the one who then says, no, that is not my belief. And that is not what I want to take with me moving forward. You have to have that conversation. And it's not going to happen just once. It's going to happen 5, 7, 10 times a day, sometimes 10 times in an hour. And each time, I want you to stop and say, no, that is not a belief about me any longer. That's not what I do. And then you need to replace that belief with what you want to have happen moving forward. And so if you're working the challenge right now, you will notice the last thing I ask you to write, and I ask you to write it every day, is I am a person who will lose all their weight. That is the belief that I want you to take on. It's the belief that I want you to hold on to, and I want you to take and let that belief move you forward, drive you forward, and allow you to get through all the rough spots. Because they're going to be bumps, there's going to be all sorts of obstacles, there's going to be all sorts of challenges. But on this weight loss journey and on this journey to understand your emotional eating, you will be able to move past that if you have that belief that I am a person who loses all their weight. Period. End of story. That's it. There's no other options. So that is what I want you to do for whatever that limiting belief is, whatever those stories are that you've been told. For me, it was being stupid. For you, it might be something else. And there might be multiple ones, and you can do this with all of them. But what beliefs are holding you back in your life that are preventing you from moving forward and living the life that you want? You can't keep doing that. You've got to make and take the steps that you can take to make that happen, where you can overcome that and you can learn that there's nothing you can't do as long as you believe in yourself and believe in what you can do and what your capabilities are. All right. So again, that is what I want you to focus on. So again, we focused on it today. This is not a one-time. That's one thing about challenges. We have a very short period of time, but this is not something I want you to just do in isolation. I want you to make sure that this is what you want to do every day. You want to be telling yourself every day, I am a woman who loses all their weight. Period. That's it. That's what I am. If you feel like you're not very smart like I did, no, I'm an intelligent person. I can handle anything. There's nothing I can't do. And I have to keep telling myself that, because there's a lot of scary things happening in my life right now that I question all the time. Can I handle this? I don't know. I don't know if I can handle this. And so it really is. I have to do the same thing. So please know we are all in this together. In whatever way that looks, we're all in this together. So support, love, encourage each other, but that's what we need to be doing. Is we need to be taking those beliefs that are not serving our lives, and we need to let them go, and we need to replace them with beliefs that do actually uplift our lives. Thank you so much for joining me today on the podcast. I always am so honored and so thrilled to be able to spend this time with you and share just a few things that I hope will help you move forward on your journey with losing weight and overcoming and managing emotional eating. Super, super important to me that you feel supported. So again, if you are not a member of the group, please come and be a member of the group. Please join. Again, there is strength in numbers, there's power in community, and there's power in women uplifting each other. There's not very many places that you can find that, and I know that we have that here in the Breakthrough community. So again, if you are listening on the podcast and you're not a member, I'd really love to see you come and join the group. So again, thank you so much for joining me. Have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your week. If you feel like this was helpful, if this was helpful to you, please go ahead, and if you are so motivated, I will, in the show notes, in the podcast, when the podcasts are listed on Spotify as well as Apple iTunes and Stitcher, if you want to leave a review, that would be so greatly appreciated. I would really, really appreciate it. Again, honest feedback is always what I'm looking for. So thank you so much. If you do that, thank you in advance. And I appreciate all of you listening, and I appreciate those of you in the community that are here. So thank you so much. If you're in the community, don't go anywhere, because we are going to talk day 2 and day 3 of the challenge. So again, thank you so much. Have a fabulous rest of your week, and I will see you next week.